Hello hackers, I'm Eurogamer's YouTube editor Ian Higton. The much anticipated but annoyingly delayed Watch Dogs has finally got a solid release date, and we've got our hands on some exclusive interviews and brand new gameplay footage. In this video we talk to Watch Dogs creative director Jonathan Morin, and we ask him all about the city where Aiden Pearce's adventure takes place. Chicago. Sorry, Chicago. Sorry. Jonathan, how big have you made the city of Chicago? How long would it take to drive from one end to the other, for instance?
I didn't try like explicitly driving from one side to the other in the game, which sounds crazy, and people are like, bullshit. The reason why I didn't is because we didn't really pay that much importance to scale. I've did open world games before, and that's my own personal take on it. Like size can be a trap. Like any other mechanics or content in the game, you want to create what you need. You don't want to do just for the sake of doing it. And size is something that matters when you need it. So if you take a game like GTA 5, for example, it's a massive world, but they have jets. Jets need space, so like I think there's totally a legitimate way of doing it there. In our case, we have a lot of depth. We want to play for 20 minutes and a roadblock. So we were focusing a lot on that depth and making sure we don't add extra space that would cause a problem to that desire. The game is massive and Chicago is massive. But don't expect, like the biggest open world ever done or that kind of thing. Do expect the deepest one you've ever seen, though, because that's pretty much how I see it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. Nice. So, how difficult has it been to make Chicago an interesting city for the players when people are not as familiar with it as they would be with London or New York, for instance?
Building Chicago is interesting. It's true that it is not the postcard #1 city in North America. It's part of the reason why we picked it. Postcard cities means they've been done to death, which is one thing that we didn't want to do. But first and foremost, just like the rest, we're supposed to talk about the impact of technology on society. We had to pick a city that was representing that. Chicago is the most surveilled city in North America. It's the London of North America. And it has a very proactive way of doing it. They want to add security cameras every year. And the way I tend to see it is they have decision makers that might be imperfect, that might be really good at generating debates, but they have balls. They are the kind of guys who have the balls to try something like CTOS. So we wanted a city where it was plausible to do it. It's also a great way to bring players to discover maybe a different part of North America that they know a bit less. It's a great city to be in. Once you're in it, the history they have, even in their museum, they define themselves as a city of crisis. They are so proactive with problems, but that's how they became strong. They burned almost to the ground, and they rebuilt itself. They had the riots, they reinvented police forces, You're constantly surviving and becoming stronger with those things, and they're proud of that, and they should be. I think it's a great place to explore for a game like Watch Dogs.
So you have this massive, deep, open world, and with it you've included an online free roam mode. What exactly will players be able to do when they're in free roam?
Actually, it's going to be entirely up to them. The free roaming mode of the game is just a place where people can connect with each other, get in the city, and start talking. It goes beyond what you can actually activate in the game. It's like if they want to talk to each other and create rules that are not even in there, go and do it. I think it was just a nice nod to that part of what game is. Like, we tend to do a lot of constraint in video games these days for good reasons. But to have a place where they can go in the pure sandbox of it and go beyond the rules we give them, create their own constraints, it's just another way for them to give back to us, to blow us away with what they would have done with it. And I think it's a great place for exploring deeper what Watch Dogs can be for them.
You've created this big, fun world filled with this emergent gameplay, but how do you plan on expanding it? What have you got lined up in terms of future DLC?
To be quite frank, we're really, especially with the delay way. We're focusing on putting a Watch Dogs into a box. So DLC's future of the brand, we'll see. One thing I can say is building something like Watch Dogs teaches us a lot. And I would lie if I say I knew exactly all the other stuff afterwards. I think I've learned a lot, like everybody else in the game, of what it means to hack everything around you. And now that we have a canvas that works, with profiling, with controlling an entire city, I mean, infinity of possibilities. So I'm definitely interested. If players tell us that the game is worth it, if you know the success comes with it, which I think deserves to happen, but ultimately it's the choice of the player, then I'll be more than thrilled to go deeper and deeper into something that seems to be endless in exploration.
With the growth in popularity of games like Rust and DayZ, I'm pleased to hear that this style of make-your-own-story experience plays such a large part in Watch Dogs. Until we actually play it ourselves and get to experiment with Ubisoft's version of Chicago, we won't know for sure how free their free roam is, but the idea of a Chernarus-style experience in a futuristic Chicago is definitely hacking into the happy zones of my brain. We've got more exclusive Watch Dogs interviews on the horizon alongside our usual exclusive interviews, early gameplay previews and interactive live streams, so make sure you use your mouse pointer to interface with that subscribe button if you want to find out more about this game and more. Play us out, Leon Corkins.